if I could add one point to what Roy said, is that when a consumer goes in to see a licensed insolvency trustee, if the consumer does a bankruptcy or does a consumer proposal, the trustee is going to be compensated as a result of that. If the trustee were to say, well, you should go see so-and-so and do a debt settlement, or you could see, 4 or 5 other, get a debt consolidation loan, sell your RV, or your judgment proof, or you can take advantage of a limitation period, they're not going to get any compensation. So the problem that we have in the Canadian debt relief marketplace is we've got all of these different players who are offering at most 1 or 2 solutions, and it's only self-interest that they're going to be promoting their particular solution, and it's only human nature. But who's looking out for the consumer?
Well, that's my concern as well. Ashley got to us on Twitter, and can we put that up on the screen and see what? Oh, okay. Ashley was asking, what is personal bankruptcy?
Good question.
Sure. So personal bankruptcy is when you retain a licensed insolvency trustee and you essentially assign all your assets and liabilities over to them. So they take over your whole estate, they sell off your estate, and then they use the proceeds to pay back your creditors.
Oh, okay.
In a first-time bankruptcy, provided you don't have surplus income, we can go into all the details, but essentially, you can get discharged after 9 months. However, if your income increases or you have some sort of financial windfall, then you're required to pay even more back into that bankruptcy if that windfall happens within the 9 months.
So it's a fluid contract.
That's right. It's a fluid contract.
I see.
There's no set payments per se. And like I said, unlike in a consumer proposal, again, done under the same act, once you've made arrangements with your creditors and they've accepted those arrangements and your proposal has now been accepted, you could win the lottery the following month. All you're required to do is pay back what you had originally agreed to pay to your creditors, and you get to keep the rest of the proceeds. In a bankruptcy, everything would be liquidated to pay back your creditors.
Mark, I guess I'm concerned, and I guess that's why you wrote the book, Wolf at the Door, that it seems the consumer who got into problems with debt isn't getting the full story from a lot of credit counseling, whether they be for profit or not for profit. And aren't you obliged to be forthcoming with consumers?
That's why I wrote the book. And it's interesting, when I wrote the book, I was more upset at the Canadian debt relief industry than I was at the debt collection industry, because everybody expects bill collectors to be rude. Everybody expects bill collectors to do all kinds of nasty things. But we don't expect people who advertise on the radio saying that we're going to help you if you owe money. We don't expect those people to rip us off. And that's what really bothers me. And so on my LinkedIn posts, you'll often read LinkedIn posts that I've written where I'm naming names in terms of organizations that I feel may be doing things illegally or doing things unethically and taking advantage of consumers. Because I think in some ways, consumers are being ripped off 3 times. The creditors may be selling them something that they don't want or shouldn't have, or maybe extending them, increasing their credit line.
They can make that decision before they purchase. So, that's fair game as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And then we've got the debt collection industry and all kinds of tricks and dirty tricks and things they're doing. And then perhaps the worst of the lot is, and I'm not talking about you, Roy, I'm talking about a lot of these players in the Canadian debt relief marketplace, and there is a lot of money out there. I mean, the largest nonprofit credit counseling agency in Canada has an annual advertising budget of $2.6 million.